Tittiesntoos.
Welcome to Tittiesntoos. I am your host, Alicia, and with me is Monica, our tattoo artist, and today we are going to be looking at consultations and the importance of this. I mean, I'm thinking back to the days when I just started, and I was quite a nervous wreck. I remember when, you sent me a drawing and I was looking at it and I'm like, is this color going to fit? Is this going to work? Is that going to work? And just being able to walk in, sit down with you, have a chat with you about it, it made the world of a difference, So why do you feel that the clients need to come for a consultation?
I think first of all, from my side, I think it's important for me to get a feel for the artist, for the client, because there's different types of people who get tattoos. Some people are very laid back. They just put all the trust in your hands and they don't care and they're just super laid back. And that's amazing. And then you get that sense like, okay, I can play around a bit with the design. Then you get clients who want very specific things and they want very, they want to be guided through the process more. And for me in a consultation, I can really get that sense if I meet you first and I can just see like what type of attention I need to give to you. But I think for the client, it's important to meet your artist first and just see what the artist is like and to feel a bit more comfortable with your decision. And just to discuss your design in person and the specifics of your design. A lot of times, you can describe a tattoo. We work by email. So you can describe it in the email and add reference images and so on, but it's a lot easier to sort of show and explain what you want in person. I think that's very important to just come in, meet your clients. It's also important for the artist to see, everybody is different. Everybody's bodies are different. So if you tell me you want a sleeve, everybody's arms are different shapes and different sizes. So I need to know how big your arm is and how many sessions I'm going to need or how this image is going to fit on your arm. For me, that's very important to just meet the client first and before I can just design something for you. And I think also just for the client to get a vibe, idea of the vibe of the studio. I think it'll make you feel more at ease if you know what you're walking into instead of just showing up on the day. You're already a bit stressed because you're going to be in pain. Then you just feel a bit more confident to know, sort of the feel of the studio and the artist and you know what to expect there.
I think for me, like, especially with the first tattoo, it was important to have that, talk through it. Because it is something that's new. It is something, and I know especially for me, considering my very, very conservative background, it was something that I still need to be able to hide it. I know. You can judge. It's okay. Like, this is a long trauma.
It was a
trauma. But as things progressed, I could see even just for myself how I got to a point where I was able to send an email for Alex. You always get the emails and then you kind of need to try and make Monica understand or decrypt what I'm trying to say. But, I would send some images to kind of say, I like these flowers, I like this, I like that. Go ahead, play, it's your canvas, do what you want. And I love the fact that I can give you that freedom to say, okay, this is kind of what I have in my mind. I don't want that specifically, but this is kind of what I have in my mind. You create something. For me, always there needs to be a little bit of a gothic, dark flair to it. But then as the years have gone by, to have gotten to that point. And I think when you start off, it's so important that you get face-to-face with your artist, be in a position where you are able to discuss, understand how your artist is interpreting what you are saying. Because there's nothing worse than getting to a spot where here's the design and you don't like the design. And instead of now being open and saying, oh, I don't like this, you're saying, okay, and then you get a tattoo that you don't like.
Yeah, because you don't feel comfortable.
Correct. And being comfortable enough to say to your artist, say, love this, but I want to add this, or maybe can we take this out, or something to that extent. That comes with trust that you've built in the time that you've been doing this.
Yeah, and I think definitely with the consultation, you have that time to ask all the questions that you want to ask in terms of placement, what to expect, how the day is going to go. If you have a full day booking, you can ask, when are we going to have lunch, blah, blah, blah. There's just an opportunity for all the questions that you want to ask to feel more secure in your decision.
I think what nobody ever asks, because if this is your first tattoo, you don't have that point of reference, ask about the wiping. Just saying. What to expect, what to kind of, what is going to be there. Because everybody experiences the pain as well differently. Some will say it feels like, just the needle pricking into me. Others will say it feels like you're scraping glass, or it's different. Everybody experiences it differently. And again, it's different on every part of your body. But being able to ask those questions and being comfortable enough. And I think being able to see the setup, as you said, see the setup that you're going to go to, where you're going to be for that day or half a day, or even maybe just an hour. Like, depends on how big you're going. Again, bigger is better. But to be able to get comfortable to be there for that time period that you're going to be there.
Definitely.
And taking the time before you start to get the advice and ask the questions, anything that you are not sure about, to ask it beforehand, so that when the day actually arrives with the tattoo, that excitement is there, and you don't have to now stress about, oh, but I never asked this, or I never did this, or I don't know about that.
I think one of the things that I've noticed with consultations is a lot of the time people stress about things that's not their thing. It's not their thing to worry about. It's my job.
Yes.
Like, they'll tell me that they want this and that in the tattoo, but they don't know how it's going to work together. They don't know where it's going to sit, how it's going to fit together. And then I can just reassure them that, you know what, you've told me exactly what you want. Now it's my job to take that and design a nice tattoo for you. So then it takes that stress off of you, that like, okay, that's not my worry. And even if you still worry about it afterwards, you can also obviously ask your client about how this changes to your tattoo design work. Like, when you receive your design, if you receive it beforehand, when is there time to make changes? And then I usually take that opportunity to just tell my clients, like, there is time to make changes. You don't have to feel like the thing I'm showing you has to go on you like that. We can make changes until you're happy. So I think it's a nice way to just get some reassurance from your artist as well, to know, like, oh, the things that I'm worried about is not my thing to worry about. That's my job.
True. And I think also what it does is it saves a lot of time for on the day to not have a client walk in here and say, like, this is not what I asked for. This is not being in a position to say, okay, we've had a chat, listen, I'm not too sure with you, because I never come in anymore. I only for the first one. So now I just trust whatever you are, creating. But I mean, I don't know if people come in to see it again, or if you just wait up until the day or the day before, and I mean, go. What do you do?
My process is that I don't send design work beforehand. Mostly because I tattoo every day, and then I design the tattoo for the next day on that day. So I don't have time to get ahead with design work. And I think just I trust my own experience by now. I know that if you come in for a consultation and you're clear on what you want, and I've asked all the questions that I need to ask, then I know more or less what you want. And then usually when there are changes to be made, it's like very small changes. Just move this there, or move it a bit to that side, or whatever. So usually I don't need a lot of time to make changes. I also design my design work in a way that I can make those changes very easily. Nowadays on the iPad, it's so easy to make those changes. I don't send design work out beforehand. I've also realized by doing that, it causes a lot of miscommunication. Because you will receive your design, and I've taken things into account like the placement, or it's going to sit while I was designing that, but I don't necessarily describe all of that decision making to you on the email when I send you the design. And then there's a lot of back and forth. Why is this there? No. Whereas if you just come in for your tattoo and we can discuss those things and
Sorry.
we can discuss those things in person. And if you want to make changes, it's easier for me to listen to you in person, and you can see how I'm making those changes, and you can tell me like, oh no, that's not what I meant, or yes, that's what I meant, and you can see if it's working or not with me. So I've realized it saves a lot of time on both ends to not send the design work beforehand. I know that makes a lot of people stress about it. But I think that's why it's important to research your artist as well.
Correct.
And sort of get a look and feel for what their design work looks like normally. And then you can have a bit of trust in them. And I think, if you've come for a consultation and I usually at the end of my consultation, I always ask my clients, are there anything that you are worried about, something that you're worried I'm going to get wrong, or something that's very important that needs to be in there in order for you to be happy with it. And I mean, if you've mentioned everything that you are worried about, then I'm going to incorporate that and, design the tattoo that you hopefully like.
Yes. Yes.
Ask your artist if it's necessary for a consultation. I know sometimes, a consultation doesn't always take long. Sometimes it's a 5-minute conversation.
Yes.
And I know fuel prices are extremely high. So you don't want to necessarily drive all the way just for a consultation that takes 5 minutes if it's not even necessary. I've also tried doing phone call consultations, like some other WhatsApp video call, and that tends to work quite well as well. Sometimes people are also far away; they can't. They come from Cape Town. They're only here for a week. They don't have time to come in for a consultation beforehand. But there's ways to work around it. But sometimes the consultation is necessary especially for cover-ups. I always need to see that tattoo in real life.
Yes.
People send me photos and then it looks this big on the photo, and then when they get here it's that small, and then I'm like, oh, okay, well, it's going to be a lot easier now than what I expected. And I need to trace that little shape just to know like how big can I go with the cover up.
Yes.
So sometimes it's very necessary for a cover up or for a consultation, and sometimes it's not.
But also for a cover up, yes.
But I think consultations are necessary. I've noticed people are very reluctant to come for consultations. I don't know why necessarily. I think maybe because it takes a lot of time and it takes, the drive out there. But at the end of the day as well, again, it's a investment. So if you're going to spend all this money and you're going to spend all this time to get a tattoo, might as well just spend that one extra appointment or go to that one extra appointment to make sure that you get a better tattoo at the end of the day.
Yes, and you wanna be able to feel comfortable about what you are going to be getting, and also feel comfortable about knowing what you want and what is ultimately going to be given to you is one and the same thing. And I cannot hammer on this enough, because I think this was something that I didn't necessarily, when I initially started with my tattooing, thought about. And I should have, considering that I am a creative person and like artists is my family. But just taking an image from the internet is not okay. It is not, I always want to say it is a slap in the face to the artist. Because I'm coming to you because of your art, because of how you are doing it. So if I'm just bringing you something and saying, okay, this is what I want, I don't want any changes to it, it kind of leaves you in a position where you can't bring in your own design, bring in your own flair to it. And it also is not something that you're going to then show off. It's not, I love the concept of always seeing what you post, the new artwork that's there, and, the different styles, the different things that people are interested in. So being able to see that is great. And I know there are people out there who want to see the artwork. I know there are people out there that post artwork that is absolutely crap. Like there's no other way of looking at it, but they want to get the exposure just because I've posted something. And I think that also comes down to possibly the artist, and very much to the client of being able to look at something and saying, I'm proud of this work. I'm proud of, as a client, of this work, and I want it to be out there to be shown, you know, and having that consultation really speaks to that.
Yeah, definitely. You can advise your client. I mean, I think all artists get that when you get presented with an image of a tattoo that's already tattooed on someone, and then they just want that copied. And then it's a difficult conversation or a sensitive conversation that you have with this client to tell them, like, listen, we can't just copy that. It's not very ethical to just copy another artist's work. And also, it's not possible. Nobody tattoos the same as someone else. So even if that's your expectation, you're not going to end up with that tattoo. You're going to end up with a different tattoo because a different artist is tattooing it. But then you can just manage the people's expectations and just tell them, like, listen, we're not going to be able to do that way. I'm going to have to change it. I think a lot of the time I've also been given projects where they want very specific things, and then I'm like, but I can do it better than that. So you want to give your artist just that bit of freedom to be able to give you the best tattoo possible that they can give you by applying their own artistic skill. But that's also where it's important to look for an artist that can draw and can do their own design work. I think that's a skill sort of separate from tattooing that a tattoo artist needs to have, is to be able to design good tattoos and unique tattoos that's not being copied.
Correct.
So all of that discussions can take place in the consultation.
Yes.
It's very important.
And I mean, like, I'm going to give you my horror story of a plague doctor that you did for me, and you posted it. And I mean, guys, if you haven't seen it, please go have a look. It's
I like
beautiful.
It.
And where I'm assuming another client saw it, they liked it, and they took it to an artist, and the artist tried very hard on this word, tried to replicate this, and it really looked like shit. There's no other words, because when you saw it, I mean, you and Alex found the post or saw the post, and I remember I was coming in for a tattoo, and you're like, we have to have a discussion. And I'm like, oh my God. And
I didn't know if I should tell you.
No, it was literally, I felt like I was going to the principal's office, and I'm like, oh my God, what the fuck did I do? And when I saw it, I felt so disgusted. You know,
it was designed for you.
Correct. And I think that is why it's also important of understanding, yes, you like the idea, but your artist needs to create their version for you. How you want things, not exactly a replica. Like their artwork and their style into that.
I mean, you want a unique tattoo. You don't want something that someone else has on you, on them as well. So, it's important to make those changes and just give your artist the freedom to make those changes as well. And create an artwork especially for you. It's only yours.
Yes. And I think one of the nicest things about being able to come in for consultation is seeing the vibe. You know, seeing where am I going to spend my day, what am I going to be doing, what is it like. I know when way back in my day, I was literally like a little stress ball. So I'm already thinking, is there parking? Is there this? What is going to be there? You know, all of those things. So the moment you come for a consultation, you see, oh, okay, there's parking. I don't have to worry about, you know, not being able to find parking. There's a bathroom. I know it sounds so weird, but like, you know, but simple, small things like that already set you at ease. Once you've been there, you've seen the place, you know what to expect when you get there, and you can kind of already relax. Same way as what you come back from work in the afternoon and you get onto your couch and you relax. It should feel the same in that sense, you know.
Especially, I think I want to get tattooed. I have an idea for tattoos that I want, and it's quite. I'm not gonna be able to wear pants while I'm getting this tattoo. But then in my mind, I'm like, okay, but who am I gonna go to? And what is the studio setup of this? Am I gonna be all exposed in this massive studio? Which, I mean, it's normal in a tattoo studio for people to not wear pants, but.
I feel like that's a slogan.
But that's things that you need to take into account. Like, are you going to feel safe getting tattooed on that area of your body? So it's nice to come in and just check it out.
And I think if you are somebody that is quite the vibe of a shop or a walk-in space, you know, check it out.
Yeah.
See, I mean, the chances are that it's not going to be just one artist. There's going to be a few artists there. See what the setup is like, what you like, if you are going to feel comfortable. And if you feel that, let's say you are getting, like what you say, you know, you're not wearing pants, ask them, is there a way that we can close up, that I can feel comfortable? Ask the questions. Guys, this is for you.
Yeah.
You are getting this, so you need to feel comfortable in that space. If you are not feeling comfortable there, you are not going to enjoy that experience.
Yeah. And that experience stays with you. Every time you look at that tattoo, you are going to remember that experience. I think that's why I got my blackout.
Yes.
Because every time I looked at those tattoos, it reminded me of that time and that experiences I had while I got the tattoos. So yeah, anyway, it's really important to have a good experience while getting tattooed. Otherwise, you're going to remember that bad experience every time you look at the tattoo.
And then you're not going to go for another one. And I promise you the next one is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's it.
All
Our
right.
consultations.
Well, I mean, I think, you know, book your consultations with your tattoo artist. Get in there, get some tattoos. Tell us about the tattoos. Tell us if you've got some stories where the consultation maybe didn't go as planned. Tell us where it did go and how it helped you. And let's engage on that so that we can also see what's happening in your stuff, you know, and we're looking forward to seeing you in the next one, and I hope you have a good one. All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Titties and twos.